What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to be taking you through a Vanguard weapon, actually, that was way back out in Season 1 in, like, the first ever Destiny 2 sandbox with the re-release of it, I guess, in Wicked Sister, a strand-heavy grenade launcher. Obviously, it wasn't strand at the beginning of everything, but now we got this bad boy as a strand heavy weapon that we get from Papa Savala, obviously with those rewards, as well as in general doing those strikes, giving ourselves those Vanguard upgrades and such. But we got two origin traits on this bad boy, with Vanguard's Vindication as our first one. Final blows with this weapon grant a small amount of health. Definitely not a bad origin trait in general for PvP for sure, PvE as well. Second origin trait is that Nadir focus sustained fire increases accuracy and range for velocity for us with launchers is going to increase, so it's basically going to shoot those grenades faster, not at least rate of fire, but they're going to hit the targets faster after you shoot them, so a little bit more damage, if you will, that we can put downfield. Okay, so now first two columns before we go over our options in the third and fourth. We got hard launch as our barrel with a velocity masterwork as well for PvE side of things. This will give us that 10 in stability as a negative, plus 15 to velocity, minus 5 to blast radius, and we want blast radius to be a little bit lower for us, because I'm pretty sure as it works for stuff like this, your rocket sidearms, mountaintop, if you're looking for more damage on a single target, the lower the blast radius, the better. Saying that, second column for DPS, definitely you want that spike grenades, because on direct impacts, they are going to do more damage, plus we get 10 to stability, which is nice, kind of counteracts the hard launch from our first column. Three options that you should throw on, or at least your three best options, I think, since we have a bunch of different options in each of these third and fourth columns. You got Envious Arsenal in the third column, auto-loading holster in the third column, as well as Envious Assassin, so you can see what these do. Envious Arsenal is dealing damage with all of our weapons, is going to refill this weapon from reserves. Auto-loading, when you have this holstered for a short period of time, it's going to automatically reload itself, and then Envious Assassin, defeating targets with other weapons, is going to effectively overflow this weapon from reserves. So all very good options for this third column. For me, I would definitely throw Envious Assassin at our number one, or I should say, sorry, Envious Arsenal at number one, with basically Envious Assassin at number two, auto-loading holster at number three for your options, at least in this third column. That's how I personally would rate it. Fourth column, your three options are bait and switch as your first one, Cascade Point as your second option, and then last but certainly not least, you got yourself full court. So bait and switch, probably the best option, especially with Envious Arsenal. Dealing damage with all equipped weapons within a short time gives this weapon a damage boost, and it is a good juicy 30% damage increase. Now Cascade Point, when we get defeats with other weapons, we're going to shoot faster, so if we have our velocity up really high, as well as Cascade Point might be the actual fastest DPS burst wise, but overall bait and switch will be better. Then last but not least, as an option, we got that full court. Like I said, increase detonation damage as the projectile travels further, so if you gotta hit it a lot farther, throw on full court. But like I said, I would throw on bait and switch as your first option, probably Cascade as my second, and then full court as my third option for this fourth column. So definitely Envious Arsenal bait and switch is the 5 out of 5, and I personally would throw that overall with this weapon up there. It is just like all of our other ones that have a good way to refill it bait and switch wise, whether that's Envious Assassin, Envious Arsenal. We have a lot of weapons in grenade launchers that have this nowadays, and I would throw this up there with them in that high AS tier at like that 4.8, 4.9 level with these grenade launchers, especially right now with how the sandbox is in PvP, or I should say in PvE, as well as our artifacts. So definitely slapping, and it's super easy to farm and get and focus at Commander Zavala. Moving on to PvP side of things, we're going to go with Volatile Launch as well as a Blast Radius as our masterwork. Volatile Launch obviously giving us that plus 15 and Blast Radius. For PvP, we want to build Blast Radius out as high as humanly possible. High Explosive Ordnance for Magazine, plus 5 to that Velocity. We do get -2 in Magazine, but that doesn't really matter in PvP at least. And then plus 10 to Blast Radius. Again, we're getting that all the way up into the high 80s for sure, especially when we got our 3rd and 4th column procced. 3rd column, your options in my personal opinion are Unrelenting as one of your options, Strategist as another one, and then you could go with something like Perpetual Motion as your 3rd. So Unrelenting is going to give you health on those rapid defeats. Guardians count as more than 1 defeat. When we throw on Perpetual Motion, this weapon gains bonus stability, handling, reload when we are in motion. So Crucible, not a bad perk as well, but more of something like a scout rifle, a hand cannon, etc. And then Strategist Final Blows is going to give us class ability energy. Class ability is going to give this weapon stability. So again, nothing too crazy for me. Unrelenting is probably your best option as number 1. Strategist is number 2 in this category, and then that Perpetual Motion is number 3. 4th column, your options are Reverberation as a choice. We got ourselves Chain Reaction. And then for the 3rd option, nothing too crazy, but I guess you could probably go with Vorpal because it's 20% damage increase against those Guardians in their supers. So not a bad option if you're going against supers a good amount. If you're going with Reverberation, Final Blows to this weapon increase its detonation size. So 100 blast radius, what we're looking for. Very good option as well, but I think my personal favorite is Chain Reaction. Each final blow with this weapon creates an elemental damage explosion. So for me, Chain Reaction would be my number 1 option, pairing that probably with Unrelenting as the 5 out of 5, if you will, with Reverberation as my 2nd choice for this 4th column, I should say, and then Vorpal as my last. But overall, this thing definitely a solid weapon again for the PvP realm. Goes alongside basically all of our other grenade launchers that we have. I still like my Cataphract the best, Blast Brute as well, but this falls right behind it at like that 4.7, 4.6 maybe for the Crucible realm. So again, very good weapon, very easy to farm, which helps its rating as well. Definitely give it a shot. Go do your strikes, etc. Get those Vanguard packages and get yourself this wicked sister. So love all of y'all again. Happy holidays. Appreciate you guys for coming back to the channel. Means a lot to me. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you haven't. Helps the channel out as well. Helps the algorithm out. Plus you guys will get notifications on these builds here that we put out, as well as God rule guides. So again, thank you. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.